really hard-working band.
We were.
And as far as I know, you don't take too many days off.
I don't know if that's true. I think we take plenty of days off, but we like to work and we like to tour, even through raising families and things like that. We really liked to bring what we were doing. You know, we were creating an art that really existed. We made records, but really the art existed live in front of people in that kind of interactive space with an audience that is, you know, you can watch gigs on YouTube or whatever, but it's not the same as having that experience together. You know, it's an experience for everybody in the room, not just the people on this side of the stage, but it's kind of a symbiotic thing. And on the best nights, you know, you're feeding the audience and they're feeding you back, and everybody lives off together or something like that, you know. So we like to do that.
Do you consider this work or play?
Well, we were talking about this, you know, that musicians say that they play. I'm going to play tonight. I'm going to play tonight in the sandbox. So there's an element of freedom to it, but it certainly is, you know, if you're doing it for long enough, there's a work element to it. It's something you're working at. But maybe you're always trying to keep that sense of play about it, you know, so that it doesn't get overly heavy.
When you go to the studio, you go only when you have like some influence by your muse, or it's like a daily routine, mundane thing?
It's not a daily routine, but it's a regular routine of sorts. And it might be, you know, I do a lot of visual art, so I have a painting studio as well. So I might go there. They're in the same building. So I might go to the recording studio and do something for a while, or go upstairs and do some painting, or I like to write stuff, so I write stuff mostly at home, but there's not really a routine, but things bounce off each other. You know, sometimes the visual art will influence the songs, actually, or if I'm writing something that's like a poem, it'll influence a song lyric, or become words on a canvas or something like that. So if I get stuck in one area, I can move to something else for a little while.
Okay. I have a follow-up question from Michael Ginsburg. He asked, how do you manage to keep reinventing yourself when there's a lack of inspiration?
When there's a lack of inspiration? I don't know. I hope as an artist, you kind of work through those points where you're not inspired. You do something else. You know, you go ride your bike or whatever it is and come back later. But
how about collaborations?
Collaborations make things easier in a way, because collaborations are, you know, music is a very social form. You experience it often with other people, even if you're just playing albums at home. You sit down and listen to music with somebody else or something like that. I mean, maybe today it's become more private. You know, everybody listens to music on headphones all by themselves. So it's a different experience, but it's like going to a movie theater and seeing a movie with a bunch of people, like listening to music, either a concert or, you know, you're sitting around somebody's house listening to music. And music is a very social activity, so it's nice to do it with other people, because, you know, I like to have sometimes this is interesting for me, because it's like, it's just one voice, and one instrument and one voice, and so it's how much can you do, and strip these songs down to some very elemental versions. But I've got a trio right now that's expanding these songs in many different ways and colors, and that's really interesting to me. Sometimes it's nicer to play with other people's voices in the mix. I mean, that's what I really want to be doing most right now, is playing with this group I have at the moment. But it's fun to do this as well.
I would like to address your video selection.
Okay.
These clips that showcased like the history of noise music in the States for the last 40 years, from Branca, Days in Toyland, Sonic Youth, Wolf Eyes, Hair Police, the Magic Markers, maybe?
Maybe.
The birthday party.
So, and you were central to that genealogy. What made you leave this aesthetics and change it to an acoustic setting?
That's a whole bunch of questions there. The first film is an early performance by Glenn Branca, somebody that I worked with when I first moved to New York. And one of the most radical artists of the time, or that I've ever seen, really. And he passed away this year, so I was thinking about him a lot, and I found that early clip of him just playing solo guitar. I liked it just because it was so aggressive and assaultive in a way that New York felt at that time, and that artists were trying to reflect. And you know, just as a way to open this, I mean, that's one of the first things I saw when I went to New York, is what Glenn was doing and a bunch of like-minded souls. And we never really, in the early days, we didn't like to use the term noise, because the only time the term noise ever got used to describe your band was when somebody was talking shit about it, basically.
Although that Sonic Youth were formed in Noise Fest.
Well, the Noise Fest is where we started. I was just going to say that because there's a story I've been telling if this comes up. In 1980 or 81, there were a couple really cool discotheques in New York. And this one famous one called Haraz, the guy there would never book any of the downtown bands. And somebody from one of the local newspapers asked him about it, and he said, well, those downtown bands are just noise mostly. You know, and it was a derogatory thing. It was like putting you in the ghetto or something. And in that summer of 1981, Thurston organized this event that went over 9 nights at this gallery space in Soho called White Columns. And he called it Noise Fest. And it was kind of, you know, a two fingers to the guy from the club. And it was also a way of uniting all these people downtown that were playing music, some improvisers, some bands, indie bands or whatever. We didn't call them indie bands at that time. And these composers like Glenn and Reese Chatham, and everybody played like 4 or 5 bands a night for 9 nights, and everybody came every night, and so everybody got to know each other, and it was a real kind of nexus for seeing all these people that were on the scene, you know, Arno Lindsay and Ikoe Mori and DNA and Lydia Lunch and Teenage Jesus and the Jerks, and the very earliest fledgling version of Sonic Youth was starting there, and I was playing there with the drummer I was working with at the time, and nothing was happening for any of us. And at the end of those 9 nights, Kim said to me, I think you should, she and Thurston had just kind of hooked up recently, and she said, I think you and Thurston should try and play together, it could be cool. And so we spent the next couple of weeks in this gallery space, just the 3 of us with some ideas, like banging on guitars with sticks and things, and trying some things out, kind of inspired by everything we'd seen